Diaper, powder, cream, wipes, onesies, mittens, hats, tights, pillow, bumper, sheets, crib, bottle, spoon, high chair, bibs. These are some of the items on my registry. I was attempting to be as prepared as possible for the baby, and maybe, just maybe, if I chose correctly, my little lady would be perfectly pampered, and instead of going crazy, I'd have total control over everything daily. So I cautiously check off my list, each choice bringing me closer to bliss or ignorance. Was I prepared? No. What did I miss? The realization that some things are not on the list. Like 3 a.m. diaper changes and 5 a.m. feedings, painful nursing that can stop you from breathing. And then nothing on earth compares to the birth, the joy that you feel when your eyes lock at first sight, the delight of a smile on a night when exhaustion has met its maximum height. Despite every hurdle, your heart takes a flight. Your body is dead, but in your arms, you hold life. Check temperature, make a doctor's appointment, check weight on a scale, don't forget to buy ointment, buy vitamin D, choose whether or not to vaccine. What do you mean there's a lump? It's okay, just a small surgery. Was I prepared? No. What did I miss? The realization that some things are not on the list. Like the anxiety that tags along with finding a physician, it's like blindly fishing, finding one you can trust and also will listen. The chances of that are like 1 in a million, and decisions are just the first step on this arduous yet beneficial process. Because when it's time to inject, you want to knock a doctor out, or at least object. When you think it's all over, the real pain begins. Next thing you know, you've got tears in your eyes. They're rolling your baby away, already anesthetized. Monitor stuck on, IV on the right. Minutes drag like hours when she leaves your sight. Your heart was just taken, but it's a small price to pay for the relief when the surgery is complete. After recovery, it'll be better than it has been for weeks. For this type of reward, that pain you'll repeat. But life is full of things that are not on the list. Positive and negative don't always coexist. If you look at my past, it shows examples of this. Buy a pregnancy test, talk to the father, decide whether you're ready for a son or a daughter, go to a doctor, find yourself a clinic, do an in-office procedure, or a pill in just minutes. Was I prepared? No. What did I miss? The realization that some things are not on the list. The so-called convenient pill leaves you in agony, but I'm not upset, it's where I'd rather be, curled up in physical pain rather than mentally, dealing with what was slain and what I had just became. After all, I was trained to believe this was no tragedy. Tissue is what they call it, so there's no issue when you abort it, but how about the heartbeat that can be recorded? The truth is just distorted, because if someone handed you a tiny heart, would you squish it between your pointer and your thumb? No, you would stare at it in awe. Yet you call me dumb for feeling this baby died too young? It didn't feel like much of a choice when a year and 9 months later I see a baby that looks like it could have been mine, when I cannot deny that I never believed it was just tissue, and I regret that I'll never get to kiss you. I miss you. So don't you dare think pro-choice gives you all the options, because I'm pretty sure I never chose to have my heart filled with toxins, ripped into pieces and thrown to the bottom of an ocean full of tears never shed but simply stored. Years pass by and still I mourn the baby boy or girl that was never born. Try to escape it, but it always returns. Like years later, when you try to conceive and nothing happens, you start to believe that you don't deserve to receive. And you bleed eternally, because you know what those people fail to confess. It's not on the list, more like the subtext. At one point or another, you look back with regret. You thought you gained freedom, but you lost self-respect. We act like a child makes our goals not be met. But all I did get was a few extra parties and material items that were a waste to collect. But it's the life I let die that I cannot forget. Life may have been harder had I chosen to protect, but harder journeys are ones that often end best. And I'm certain now, as I'm put to the test, that no amount of stress is worth the death. It shouldn't be a choice, because when you feel her light breath and see her first smile, you'll instantly know it's worth all the trials. Think about it. Would you hold on to the moon for fear that the sun might burn you? Or would you embrace the rays, although at times they can hurt you? I have prayed, and I have wept, and I have asked God for some peace. And I know God has forgiven me, but it is I who cannot forgive myself. So I ask God for help, because I need a memorial to be built, one that reads to the soul I never met, but certainly felt. And to your little sister, one day I will tell that it is true that I fell, but in Jesus' fist is the blood we can have as the ultimate gift that can guide us whenever decisions pose risks. So there will be no need to insist that pro-choice doesn't exist, because faith will help her see what's not on the list.